Hi, I'm Kevin Walder, your host for the Oracle Scroll. Today, I'm here as a representative of Tarot by Kevin Walder, so I can talk to you about the new deck. Finally, we get to talk about the new deck. We've been dangling this out there for some time and took quite a hiatus as we worked through it. And believe it or not, this is the second version of the deck. I put together one deck and it didn't really click. It wasn't what I was after. It really had very little to do with the intent of the project. So I redid the project and I'm much happier with it. So I'm glad I waited. I didn't tell you all about the old one because it would have disappointed all of us, I'm sure. So what was wrong? What's wrong with the tarot? Well, there's nothing wrong with the tarot. The tarot is an interesting and very useful tool that can be used to examine our own motives, our own motivations, and how we're going to proceed and work through our situations in life. It is a mirror. It is a mirror from which we can find some of the issues that are underlying. We can begin to work on those things that we may need to correct. And we all have them. We all have them. So no one here, and certainly no one sitting on this side, can make the profession that we're perfect in any way, because we have a lot of work to do, and we will continue to do it throughout this lifetime and maybe even further future lifetimes. But when it comes to the tarot, I have enjoyed immensely working with it. I've enjoyed collecting decks. I have marveled at some of the art and the expressive colors and so forth within the tarot community. There are so many to choose from that there's no shortage. There is certainly no need for a new rendition. But there are some parts of it that have always kind of bothered me a bit and made me question, why does it need to stay that way? I mean, we're dealing with a system that is centuries old. It's time to update, just like most everything else in our lives. So the first thing I really get, for the want of a better word, I'll call it offended. Not really offended, just it doesn't make sense to me that we should hold on to some of the old Christianity that tainted the original decks. If you look closely at the artwork for many of the old decks, there is a very subtle mix of pagan themes and early earth religion themes mingled with the Christian themes that were in vogue at the time. I have a hunch that those were added and included in the tarot to keep them from being completely outlawed. Got to remember, the church was in charge of everything in those days. So the first thing I wanted to do is eliminate that. Let's bring it forward. Let's bring it into modern understanding. So some various cards that may have, that completely changed their meaning. The Hierophant, for example, sometimes called the Pope. So I've eliminated those references to the early understandings, and I don't fault that they're there. I mean, I understand it was a different time, a different era, and so we had to adapt as a culture. Furthermore, as we have evolved, we no longer have reference within most of our cultures of royalty and nobility. Those are earned rather than inherited at this point in our history. And so, yeah, they're kind of meaningless to us. So I have changed the flow of the court cards, the royal families, and basically I've given them the names of child, hunter, gatherer, and sage. Now, one other thing that you will notice is there is no definitive gender involved with any of those cards. A child can be either or, male or female. The hunter could be either or, male or female, but it is an assertive kind of energy. The gatherer, again, male or female, but it's a more passive kind of energy, still just as strong of an energy. And then sage, to me, a sage is anyone of, advanced years perhaps, full of wisdom and life experience. They could be either or, male or female, and still give you some very valuable advice. And then I basically eliminated the suits. I boiled them down to their elemental meanings. So we have earth, air, fire, water, and then the major arcana I have called spirit, because that is really the ruling planet, let's say, that helps to pull together the meanings within any reading that we might do. If you've got a major arcana card, a spirit card, it sets the tone. It sets the value. It helps you to focus on where you're headed and what you're doing. The rest of the cards, the way I see a reading being constructed is you've got the major arcana being your plot, and then the court cards being the character essences that you're going to bring forward, those parts that you're going to play, the characters that you're going to play in the story. And then, of course, the numeral cards are the filler. They give you the background and the story itself. So we have all of the parts to our story, and we can begin to assemble it in a way that is meaningful to us. So that's the basis for what I was doing. I wanted to eliminate, first of all, I never have appreciated decks that have the meanings printed on the bottom of the card or anywhere on the front that indicate, what kind of meaning you're going to draw from this card, because you can never unsee it. Once you've read that particular card, it's always going to mean what it says on the front. Even though the situation may be such that it's completely changed and it doesn't really fit anymore, but you're stuck with that. Now, you can also get a similar kind of stuck with it with just the imagery. Sometimes the imagery can lead you to a particular conclusion about a card, whether it's positive or negative or, however it fits into your life. So what I have done is eliminate the imagery. So each of the cards, as you will see, and I will show little examples as we go along, each of the cards have a distinctive background color, and just their designation, whether it's an ace through a 10 of air or an ace through a 10 of water, that's all it does is give you the number and the suit. And from there, you can draw using just a teeny bit of numerology. It's very basic, simple numerology, but it helps you to understand the card, and then you start to draw your own conclusions. And that is a thing that I have always tried to emphasize whenever teaching a class. Draw your own conclusions. Don't get lost in the definitions that are given to you, because they can confuse you. They can lead you in multiple directions. And right now, we just need to find where we are and how we're going to proceed. So this is the beginning, and we will begin to work our way through the cards in the coming days. So hang in there. We're starting to show some progress. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Oracle Scroll. Please visit my website at kevinwalder.com, where you can purchase any of the services that I offer. Also, check out my books, Tarot for Lunch, Lessons from the Cards, and 22 Teachers, Healing Lessons from the Major Arcana. Both are available now at amazon.com. And most importantly, never miss another episode. Click below, click the subscribe button and the bell to make sure you're always up to date.